Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and we are here today with a video dealing with the whole tariff and stock market debacle. Caused by the tariffs. And then, especially with a recent idea that's being floated, that Trump did this on purpose to do a little insider trading, to do a little options trading. Corrupt and illegal actions, as is Trump's MO. Let's go ahead and look at this. From Reuters.com. Some options saw volume jump ahead of Trump's tariff pause. Options market experts say hard to tell whether trades are suspicious. Some Democrats call for probe into potential market manipulation. Google searches for insider trading jump in recent days. In the minutes before Trump's social media post on Wednesday pausing tariffs sent the U.S. stock market rallying, some unidentified options leaders placed bets worth millions of dollars the market would rebound, data shows. The well-timed bets likely paid off handsomely. Now, some Democratic lawmakers are calling for investigations into whether Trump's policy reversal led to any market manipulation or insider trading. Yeah. Betting on short-term market swings is common, and the trades in question could easily have been placed without any prior knowledge of the coming news, as traders speculate on a market bounce or hedge against one every day. And some market experts said a record surge in options trading volume due to the market's wild gyrations in recent days, coupled with the fast moving pace of market moving news, makes it hard to put a finger on suspicious trading. There's no way to know if that buyer at that moment just had lucky timing or not, said Henry Schwartz, Vice President, Market Intelligence at CBOE Global Markets. I haven't found any smoking gun. Bets in options markets where traders use equity derivatives often appear in insider trading cases. They allow traders to bet on the direction of the market or individual stocks without having to make a large upfront commitment. Millions of dollars change hands in the options market daily, with the volume and size of trades rising in times of heightened volatility. In an emailed statement, the White House did not directly address concerns about market manipulation. White House spokesman Kush Desai said the president's responsibility to reassure the markets and Americans about economic security in the face of nonstop media fear-mongering. the Securities and Exchange Commission, which in the past has taken action against insider trading involving options trading, declined to comment. So, yeah. A lot of suspicious actions. Well-timed trades. Trump's Truth Social post on Wednesday pausing tariffs in some countries came at 1:18 p.m., setting off a 9.5 jump for the S&P 500. Market data shows certain options contracts logging a spike in trading activity ahead of it. For instance, with the S&P 500 tracking ETF SPY shares at around 501.50, some 5,105 SPY call options bets that the shares would rise to finish today above 502 traded at around 1 p.m. for an average price of $4.20. According to Trade Alert data, when stocks soared in the afternoon, the price of these calls soared as high as around $42. On paper, someone holding all 5,105 calls would have seen their value go from around 2.14 million to about 21.44 million. It would have jumped 10 times. Similarly, the value of other SPY calls, these betting on the ETF rising to close Wednesday above 509, traded at around 1:10 p.m. Eastern for an average price of $2.14. On paper, their value jumped to about $10 million by the end of the day, up from 624,000. Reuters could not determine whether the calls were purchased or sold by one trader or several, and whether they closed the position for a gain. Yeah. So Reuters is like, we don't know, but things are suspicious looking at the very least. And meanwhile, you regular people your lower class workers, your middle class workers, they're being squeezed and squeezed even more. From The Independent, Trump brags in Oval Office that his billionaire pals made a killing in stocks after he pulled the plugs on tariffs. Donald Trump gleefully recounted how much money his billionaire pals made in the stock market after he suddenly suspended most of his worldwide tariffs. Stocks zoomed Wednesday after Trump pulled the plug on the tariffs. This is a great time to buy, he urged Truth Social shortly after the market opened and before he suspended the levies for 90 days. Just 4 hours later. Stocks jumped more than 7% Wednesday within minutes of his announcement suspending the tariffs for 90 days. The market ultimately closed more than 9% higher. At the White House Oval Office that day, Trump pointed to a pair of billionaire visitors. He made 2.5, I'm assuming billion, but he says million here. And he made 900 million. That's not bad, Trump said, pointing to financial investor Charles Schwab and the NASCAR team owner Roger Penske. The men were part of a visiting guest contingent of mostly racing notables. Schwab is estimated to be worth $12.9 billion and Penske $5.6 billion. I only say it was probably $2.5 billion because one man made $900 million. The $2.5 million, I mean, it's still great for any other person, but most of them would be like, it's kind of weak compared to the other guy. Maybe it is 2.5 million, but I get the feeling it was probably 2.5 billion or something like that. Bloomberg reported that Wednesday was the best day ever for billionaires as the world's wealthiest people raked in $304 billion as markets rocketed back up. $304 billion. The Wednesday windfalls triggered accusations of market manipulation and even insider trading as Trump critics accused the president of tipping off his well-heeled friends to buy, knowing that a suspension of the tariffs on his order would boost stock prices. Adam Schiff is calling for a congressional investigation. Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego joined Schiff in signing a letter sent to the White House Thursday morning to request an urgent inquiry into whether President Trump, his family, or other members of the administration engaged in insider trading or other illegal financial transactions with advanced knowledge of the non-public information about the tariff policy change. White House spokesperson accused Democrats of playing partisan games after calls for an investigation. Well, quit playing partisan games, you jackass! Like I said, Republicans often accuse the other side of doing shit and then do it themselves. Not to say Democrats are innocent. I don't like them very much either. It's just they're not as evil as fucking Republicans. From The Guardian. Trump ignites insider trading accusations after global tariffs U-turn. U.S. President posted it was a great time to buy on social media. Trump is facing accusations of market manipulation after posting on social media that it was a great time to buy just hours before he made a dramatic U-turn on his trade war that led to big rises in stock markets around the world. Shortly after U.S. markets opened, Trump wrote on social media platform he owns, Truth Social, "This is a great time to buy." Less than 4 hours later, he shocked investors by announcing a 90-day pause on additional trade tariffs on most countries except China, sending share indexes soaring. In America, the S&P 500 Blue Chip Index closed up more than 9%, while the technology-focused NASDAQ Index it should be, more than 12% up. Unless they're talking about the end of the day, shut more than 12% up. That's just awkwardly phrased. Stocks continued to rise in Asia and Europe on Thursday, with Japan's Nikkei 225 index up by 9% and London's FTSE 100 index rising by as much as 4% in early trading. Yeah, more and more it just feels like there is something rotten in DC that seems to be circling right around Trump. Yeah. But finally, we have a video here from DW News. Let's expand that a little bit. Play.
U.S. stocks have fallen back into the red this Thursday, giving back some of those historic gains that were made yesterday after U.S. President Trump changed his mind about tariffs.
So even after they did get that big boost on Wednesday, they've started falling back down again.
On Wednesday, Trump suspended his reciprocal tariffs on most countries. He left his 10% blanket tariffs in place and increased Chinese tariffs to a staggering 145%. After soaring 7% on Wednesday, the Dow Jones in New York is down about 3% at the moment. There are lingering concerns about the economic fallout of the tariffs, which could still threaten the global economy and weigh on U.S. corporate profits. On Wednesday, when President Trump said that he was pausing tariffs on most of the world, U.S. stocks were having a mixed day. That changed, however, when the president made his announcement. Hours earlier, Trump took to his social media platform Truth Social.
Yeah, so they're still worried what he's been doing is going to screw everything up horribly. Like we said, even after its rise on Wednesday, on Thursday it fell. Yeah. And 145% tariff on China. So he don't give a damn about average people. He's screwed with their 401ks, their Social Security, their lives to embetter himself and his rich buddies.
To offer some financial advice. And it was simply this. He posted, "This is a great time to buy." Stocks soared on the news of the tariff change of mind, ending trading nearly 10% higher. Democrats are calling for an investigation into allegations of market manipulation. They want to know who knew about the president's U-turn plans and when did they know. Well, I'm joined now by Richard Painter. He's a corporate law professor. He served as the chief ethics lawyer for former U.S. President George W. Bush. Professor, it's good to have you back on the program. I want to, maybe if we could pull up that post that we saw from President Trump. He posted on Truth Social Wednesday morning basically with the message that it is a great time to buy. Several hours later, he changed his mind on tariffs and stocks skyrocketed. Was there anything about his post that was wrong or maybe even illegal?
We have never had a president before weigh in on whether to buy or sell stocks. And in particular, we've never had this.
And remember, this is a George W. Bush ethics lawyer. And he's like, we've not had anything like this happen before. Which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Bush himself is guilty of a whole lot of chicanery. But even his ethics lawyers are like, yeah, no.
This happened when the administration is about to announce such significant changes to economic policy, such as the imposition or the postponement of tariffs around the globe. Everyone knows that tariffs have a potentially devastating impact on stock markets. The last time the United States tried this was in 1930, and with broad-based tariffs, initiated trade war with Europe and with other countries around the globe, and it perpetuated a Great Depression and led to nationalism, the rise of nationalism around the world as countries turned inward. The stock market is terrified of these tariffs, and the president should not be tweeting about stocks while he is trying to figure out what the United States trade policy is, and he keeps changing his mind every day as to what he's going to do.
And I suppose, Professor, this all revolves around the question of whether or not Trump was already planning to pause his tariffs when he posted this message on Truth Social. I mean, if that were to be proven, then there would be evidence of willful market manipulation. But is that a crime? And is it a crime for a sitting U.S. president?
Well, the crime would not be posting the statement there if it were true that he's actually going to postpone his tariffs and let people know, whether he does on Truth Social or otherwise. He certainly shouldn't be saying buy stocks. The real question there is, did he tell anybody else in advance of his putting that post up that he was going to do this? So other individuals would have had access to inside information, and that could involve the insider trading laws in the United States. When there's so much information that's private in the White House, and then suddenly released, the stock market moves up or down thousands of points. And we simply can't have the president and others talking about buying or selling stocks. It's going to lead to speculation that they themselves are buying or selling stocks before they make these announcements. And
yeah. So it's like, look, there is always a question on something like this when there is such suspicious activity. You gotta wonder what's going on. And unfortunately, we know Trump loves to surround himself with rich people, billionaires. Yeah. It's questionable as fuck, at the least. And then the way the Supreme Court has decided to be partisan as shit. It's hard to see any punishments coming from something like this. Yeah. The Republicans have turned the U.S. into a goddamn shit show. Buddying up with fucking billionaires. it baffles me how people look at this and they can't go, oh, that makes sense. No, they are so brainwashed by groups like Fox News and Newsmax, One American News, Daily Wire, Breitbart, all these bullshit fucking propaganda people. And they'll keep repeating the same fucking bullshit because it's the propaganda they're told that's driven into their fucking mind. It needs to be properly investigated. But again, you have the fucking Republicans in goddamn Congress that are fucking cheerleaders instead of people who are serious about doing their goddamn fucking job. He's turned America into a complete and utter shit show. He really has. Now, you can argue there's been a level of decline going on for decades, but even if there was, it was going slowly. Trump just like, whee, let's all fall off the fucking hill together. So yeah.
Once again, the markets are absolutely terrified of a trade war between the United States and Europe, or the United States and any other part of the world.
Yeah, your point is well taken, Professor. I mean, the question is now, who in Trump's direct orbit, who was aware of what the president was planning, and did they act? Did they buy shares? Did they profit on this while the public was not able to do so? Some Democrats say this is an insider trading scandal in the making. They want an investigation. Do you think that investigation will ever happen?
I don't know. There should be an investigation of who knew what the president's plan was on tariffs, and if anybody made trades based on that information. I do not know whether that, in fact, is the case. The president has just created an appearance of market manipulation and that there might be insider trading when he's talking about buying and selling stocks at the same time as he's talking about U.S. trade policy. The Democrats don't have a particularly strong position here politically because they themselves defended Speaker Nancy Pelosi when she and her husband was trading a lot on stocks, and they refused to.
I don't care what goddamn party you're in. There should be no fucking sniff of insider trading. Don't matter who you fucking are. This is why I'm so big on the idea of re-implementing strict regulations, because they keep crying, oh, we're too regulated, and things get worse and worse, and it's like, we're too regulated. Motherfuckers, you're almost not regulated at goddamn all, and you're sitting here. Okay, but yeah, we'll not even finish this video. We about went halfway through, but yeah, you get the idea. I'll let you all read, watch the rest of it. You won't, because I always try to get my list, my links posted. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end this episode here. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting these sources and links in the description box below the video, as always. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.